in one sentence, what would you say? Okay. What would you say? Concise? What would you say? Haven't we done that in this program? Asked you, just to come up with a short, concise definition of a teacher, what a teacher does? Okay, and what do you come up with?
Wouldn't that be like a philosophy? Wouldn't it be like a philosophy of education type thing?
No. In other words, a machinist works with a machine to produce certain things, so on and so forth. So if someone asks you, or if you need to kind of define yourself as a teacher, what is it? What's one sentence that would work? Yeah.
I would say to educate students to become independent learners.
Okay. Anyone else? Does that? I mean, can you defend that? Is that something you can defend?
It's just one of my beliefs.
Sorry?
I think one of my goals is to make my students independent learners, because one day they're going to have to go out in the world and learn stuff on their own. They're not always going to have a teacher.
Okay, so a teacher is someone who helps facilitate independent learning in every grade? Okay.
I think so.
There's no right answer. I'm just asking you, because I want to know what we teach you here in the program or what you think. Because you know what? If you can define what you're doing in a sentence or two sentences, then you're never going to have to think about it if somebody asks, or if you're going to be explaining yourself, or if you're going for a job, and you say, well, my belief, they'll say, what do you think a teacher does? What do you do? Okay, well, I believe that it's so on and so forth. Then the next question, they'd ask you something else, what's your philosophy? Whatever it is, whatever your philosophy is, whatever people ask you, you should have about a 30-word, 40-word memorized answer. Like just what you said, I want to make people independent learners, so on and so forth, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what I'd like you to make your philosophy on that first page. Because when you go for a job, or when you talk to parents, inevitably that's going to come up. And you don't want to fumble around thinking, what should I say next? What should I say next? So try and find some well thought out answers to questions you know you're going to get. And I guarantee you'll save yourself some embarrassment. Speaking from experience. Oh, let me ask you this. In your opinion, I want to see if we teach this, or if you guys think about it. What's the first responsibility of a teacher? In your opinion, yeah.
Keep the kids safe.
Yeah, that's it. A lot of people won't answer that, but your first duty is to send the kids home the same way they came to school, and you must be careful. Safety is like job number one. I mean, there's nothing even seconds, 1 and 2. You don't want to send anyone home with an injury or problem and stuff like that. So that's good. I just bring that up so that I don't know if we brought that up in our program or not, but again, I want to bring that up. I used to teach. I've had 60 or so student teachers, and we'd always talk about these kinds of things before they went out so that they wouldn't make mistakes, like use matches in the classroom, which they did. Some people did. Okay. Just one more thing. Well, we used to teach people in Alaska. We had a lot of Eskimo students. And, Eskimos are Native Americans who live up in the Arctic. So a lot of people would become teachers. And very often they couldn't think about what teaching is, because they had been socialized not to speak their own language and so on and so forth. They were not allowed to speak Yupik, which is the language, Yupik Eskimo, in the schools. They would beat them if they spoke their own language. And the missionaries came up and they changed everybody's name. They changed all the Eskimo names to like Beans and Franks and so on and so forth. Seriously, I mean, you go up there and you'll find, you can't believe people have some of these names. Because Alaska was divided into different sections by the Secretary of Interior, and each section was missionized by a different church. So we would tell folks, they asked us, what should we say? And we came up with this thing that a teacher is the manager of the learning environment, which is what we said. And so within that, you can think that you set up the environment for students to learn. I mean, you can't force kids, so you can't pour the stuff in their heads, but you can manage the environment in ways that will make them independent learners, et cetera, and so on. So, yeah, I'm always looking to hear what people think so I can pick up something. Okay, I'll stop that.